sir. We are here on the Football Outside the Box podcast. It's a beautiful day, a beautiful weekend just passed. In many ways, it came home to its rightful home. Football won. A great day, just in general, guys. We haven't spoken since the quarterfinals. So since we were last here, the semifinals happened and then the final. And Spain are the champions. What do you guys make of the ending, the last few games of the Euros and the tournament as a whole? Theo, what do you make of everything, man?
We predicted it. We predicted the whole thing, Christian. No, it's a joke. I kind of like one sock side last time. I had like 4 or 5 favorites to win the title. One of them were Spain, so I guess I was on the right track. But man, what a game! I just wanted to say what a final. The first half was controlled by Spain. The second half, England played much better. Still not close to what I have envisioned England to be like, right? How they should position themselves for a game this big. I don't feel like parking the bus from the get go would be the right strategy in my view. It almost proved the right strategy to Southgate, but they didn't win. Football didn't come home, as they say. Noah said Noah was crying all weekend long, and I'm glad we could enjoy some high quality football, man. I'm so happy for it. And I kept thinking about one sock for the match because he was saying that the Euro was kind of boring. It was not my feeling. I liked it. I like this Euro this time around a lot more than I did back in 2020 when Italy won. But the first half was kind of boring in my view. Not many chances. Actually, no clear chances. Right. Spain controlling the game, over 80% of ball possession. England just parking the bus. They were defending well. Actually, they were rock solid defending, but they just couldn't create at all when they had the ball. And the second half, the opposite. Right. So entertaining. The last 5 minutes of the match. How crazy! I mean, we couldn't have asked for anything better than that. So I'm happy as a football fan. I'm happy. I was kind of seeing either France or Spain taking the title, considering whoever out of the two moved up to the finals. But England, they almost got it, man. So I can't criticize Southgate too much, aside from him parking the bus, because it almost proved to be the right strategy for his side. But I'm happy, man, as a football fan. I wonder what you guys make of it.
Bro, I mean, obviously I don't care about England winning or not. I'm not a fan, but as in, I re- I knew you were gonna laugh, but I was really interested to see the reaction if they did. Just like, plot twist. Everybody
Thank
was
God.
wanting the downfall of England. Like
Thank
when
God they
everybody
didn't.
wants downfall of a team, it would just be interesting to see what happens when, if they were to have won, especially all the ridicule on Southgate. If it was to have happened that he ended up winning, just what the whole narrative would have been. I'm not defending him. I definitely think he should be gone. He should have been gone by now. But it just would have been funny to see the reactions of everybody.
It would be mayhem.
But
Absolute mayhem.
Spain, I mean, hats off to Spain though at the end of the day. I mean, it was clear that the two young wingers just added that whole new level of dynamism that they've been missing for the past several years, and it just adds something different to their game with their already very, powerful midfield engine that they have already. And they utilize it brilliantly. But one player I actually want to shout out that definitely got some more credit towards the end of the tournament was Danny Olmo. He played very well, in my opinion, at the end. Came up with some crucial moments as well.
For
There were
sure.
a
Lots
couple
of
of things.
interesting things to talk about the game here. And I
Yeah.
remember last time we were talking about creativity, right? Chance creation, how free are the players actually are to make those plays, to take on responsibility and stay out of the script, let's say, right? So I wonder, what do you make of it, Christian? A team that has Danny Olmo in the middle as a number 10, has Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams on the wings who create chances all the time. What do you make of it? Is this gonna be the new way of playing football going forward?
I thought there were a couple of interesting takeaways about the game, and around that, I thought, we only saw that kind of heavy chance creation in that final 15 minutes after England scored. which I thought was a huge credit to Spain. Like normally when a team, I guess it speaks to their quality because when you're ahead and then your opponent equalizes, it can sometimes be earth shattering. But I think that Spain did supremely well to regain domination. It wasn't a sort of fluke goal that they scored for 2-1. It looked like they were going to make it 2-1 anyway. You know what I mean? And I think that they deserve a lot of credit for that. But one thing I noticed about Spain in the first half, you mentioned the first half was boring. There were very few chances in the first half. And I remember thinking a lot throughout that first half that Spain are very happy to kind of just relax the play. When they got the ball in what I felt like were potential counter-attacking opportunities, they were very happy just to slow the play down, including the young guys. Especially Yamal, who I felt like initially was kind of kept well by Shaw. It was a totally different story on the other side. But Spain was just happy to keep control. They had the absolute lion's share of possession, and they were looking dominant in a different way in the first half. But then once England equalized, it was just like they decided it's time to turn it on now. And they made chance. It looked like chance after chance. And, one of them was going to go in, undoubtedly.
So that was my biggest criticism for at least the first half. If you have a side that has the quality that England does, why are you just gonna park the bus, man? Why are you not gonna make changes around? Because a guy like Manu, for example, he's crucial defending, right? He's one of the pivots for the team whenever you are trying to defend and trying to get the ball away from your opponents. But creating wise, creativity, creation wise, this guy wasn't helping at all. And I felt like Southgate waited too long to make that change. And once he did, Cole Palmer scored a goal. So why not make the change earlier? Do you think that would have had another impact on the game, Noah?
I feel like there's just different moments in a football match. And I think like it's not just as simple as, oh, they were subbed on and they scored immediately. They should have started. I don't think it's as simple as that. I think, certain players offer different skill sets and values when they do step on. It's at a different time in the game where maybe Spain wanted to more sit and secure their lead. England could afford to press a little bit more. Like people forget that aspect of it too. Like when it's early on in the game in the first half, you can't really afford to just throw on a bunch of attacking players and have one pivot. It's a real life football match. It's not FIFA. Just get the best players on the field, right? That's my take on that. But do I agree with you that he was a bit negative in his play and he could have been more positive? Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it necessarily comes down to personnel selection though, but style definitely for sure. But I'm always someone who gives him credit for how he defends or how England have defended throughout the tournament and throughout several or the past few major tournaments. And I think if you're doing that, then that's something to give credit for as well, for real. Would I do it?
I think we saw a few times when it could point to like good defensive moments from England, but they were put in a lot of situations in the first half where they kind of had to make those good looking defensive actions. You know what I mean? Like I felt like Nico Williams was, for me, he was the player of the match. Did he win man of the match? I'm pretty sure he did. Who won
No,
man
he
of the
did
match?
not. It was Jude Bellingham.
Bellingham got man of the match. Surprised, I thought it was Nico. But to me, I thought he was very dangerous in the first half. I thought he was giving Stones a lot of trouble once he actually got near the box. He was giving Walker a lot of trouble, and Stones had to make some, at least one or two times, had to make some last ditch challenges on him. They
So,
were
so sorry,
causing problems.
sorry to cut you off, Christian. I was checking a Fluke website. Actually, Nico Williams got the man of the match. You're right.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, he was so dangerous. Like he was causing trouble, and to me, he deserved to be. He was the one who deserved to get that first goal. He was looking, and Yamal, who was the name on everybody's lips before the match, he was kept relatively quiet by Shaw, and I think it's an interesting kind of comparison. You know, the defensive quality that Shaw brings when he is on, compared to now what Kyle Walker is being criticized a lot for after this match, because it was like chalk and cheese.
You know what's interesting about Spain's first goal? I was watching this play again and again. How important Morata was to the whole play. How incredible is that, right? A guy like Morata. But the interesting thing is, whenever Lamine has the ball, he cuts inside, and then just you have defenders trying to chase him, and then you see Morata making a run inside the box, and then he draws out both Walker, who shouldn't been on Morata in the first place. He draws out Walker and Stones. So both of those guys, they follow Morata and they leave space for Nico Williams. So that goes to prove that a guy like Morata, even though he's not, I mean, he's far from being one of the top strikers, right? I mean, the man can score a goal. Come on, he can control a ball. But if you look at his importance to the game, to the squad, how he's able to draw defenders out to make space for other brilliant players like Nico Williams, for example, that proves a point, right? That proves a point in favor of Morata, right, Noah? So I guess now that they're the champions, we shouldn't argue about Morata's importance for the squad, right? About how much of a baller he is or he's not. Because I mean, look at the guy's importance.
There was a point in the first half where Morata had an opportunity to send a pass through to, I think it was Williams or Olmo. I don't know if you guys remember it, but there was a sweet little like back flick, and it came to Morata, and there was an opening, but he cocked up the pass, and it would have been a one-on-one. I was so upset when I saw it.
All right, all
Because I was
right.
like, bro, if that was like one of their midfielders playing false nine, like how they used to, like if that was Fabregas or if that was just,
Oh, imagine.
if even if it was Danny Olmo, it would have been one love in the first half.
And that, Theo, is precisely why I have my take on Morata.
No, it's. I mean, man, we're on the same page. We're on the same page here. I don't rate Morata at all as a baller, but that just goes to prove his importance to the squad, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't go unrecognized.
You're
He
right.
does add up to the team for a little bit. He doesn't score goals. He doesn't make assists, but I mean, he draws defenders out because he's a reference, right? He's seen as a reference in the world
Yeah,
of
like a
football.
focal point.
Yeah, a focal point. Like defenders, they whenever they play against him, they respect him. He's good in the air balls. He knows how to header a ball. You know what I mean? So he's gonna catch the attention of guys like Stones and Walker, who's willing to make a mistake, affording Nico Williams a lot of space because Morata is making a free run inside the box. So I mean, I know the guy is horrible in my view, but he has a role in the team and it's very important.
No, for sure. I hear you. I can hear that for sure. But then back to your point about like respecting him, being good in the air and stuff like that. Should defenders be even giving him that respect? Like, just leave him. He gonna miss anyway.
As we say in Brazil, nature's gonna take care of him.
Exactly. He'll take care of himself, bro. But yo, speaking on that, we can probably touch on the team of the tournament still.
Well, before we do, I wanted to raise at least one more kind of interesting point about the match. I thought it was interesting that both teams who have their, let's call it their under fire captains, center forwards, both of them got hooked in like pretty much an hour, right? I mean, have we ever seen something like that in a major final? Both captains, the two strikers, just taken off before even 65 minutes gone. I mean, that was kind of wild to see, to be
Also,
honest.
the funny thing is that the captains were actually the right fullbacks, right? Danny Carvajal and Walker.
They ended up going to the yeah, absolutely.
Funny, right?
That's interesting.
And
But
no, it was crazy. And I wanted to say as well, you know, I think we also have to give credit. I don't wanna not mention this guy because I think there was a moment in the game. I don't think I know there was a moment. It was just after halftime when it became apparent to everybody that Rodrigo was coming off. And I'm pretty sure every English fan would have been breathing a huge sigh of relief to know that he was coming off and Zubimendi is coming on. And then in just the most poetic, typical English fashion, they concede within 1 minute. And I thought Zubimendi played well, to be quite honest. I mean, we know he's not gonna have the, he's not gonna have that Rodri level of influence or those type of actions. But I thought he really did well when he came on. He was solid in the midfield, moved the ball well. I could not wrong him.
Box to box kind of defender. He was very present, like you said. He played a great match.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
he's
it's
good.
something.
He's a tidy little baller for real still. I rate him. But back to it, it's not the strikers though, taking off the captains. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like the Kane thing was just because of the whole injury scare, and maybe that was why.
I think
But
so.
but
I
I
disagree
think
with that.
at the end of the day, bro, like from I saw this guy coming off, I was like, there's no way you really decided to take Kane off. I can get the Morata one, but Kane, bro, you need a goal and you take Harry Kane off? That's what I don't understand, bro. And I
Because
honestly,
versus the Netherlands.
no, I know that's what I was gonna say. Is I think that he did it just because he did it against the Netherlands. I felt like
Yeah.
he's like, okay, well, panic mode, emergency, like just do the same exact thing as last time. It worked last time, so do it again. And it's like he's not pre in the situation, like, yo,
To me, it's kind of ironic because you see what a lot of people are criticizing Kane for, which was the fact that he was just kind of lingering too deep and not really getting sort of into the box in the way that Watkins did when he came on. I almost think that that's kind of what hurt them because that's where Spain are they're most dangerous, where they have the ball very comfortably in midfield. They outnumber you, they outpass you, they outplay you, and they lost a man there effectively with Kane because they were searching for that goal with Watkins. So in a sense, it may have actually hurt them in a different way than just looking for a goal. You know what I mean? To take off Kane. You
Absolutely.
know, it's from before this game, I think we all knew that England was not really going to touch the ball. But once Spain went and scored, it was confirmed. Like England not hit this ball again. I give them huge credit for scoring, like for equalizing at all. I think they did well to even do that.
yeah, it was
But
always gonna be a smash and grab if they were gonna win it.
yeah,
That was unknown.
Spain just went into gear too, bro. I mean, and I bring it back to this because I know I mentioned it much earlier. When after England equalized, man, the level that Spain went to for that few minutes, I thought was really good. Like they were just, it felt like they were peppering England, not necessarily with shots, but just with the interplay. They were playing around them in a way that I was like, I would not want to be one of those England players out there, man. It looked like classic Spain.
Too much flair and too much quality in the
Yeah.
passes. But back to Harry Kane, one of the clearest chances that Spain had in the first half was an outside of the box shot by Dani Olmo, which was blocked by Harry Kane. That goes to prove your point by him playing too deep, right? A defensive role. But I feel like that's not up to him, right? It's a decision made by the manager who chooses to play him that deep, to make him defend, to make him seat. And the thing about England is that England doesn't have a chance creator, especially when you play Jude in the wing. They didn't have a midfield capable enough to provide Kane with those chances, with those balls. And I see a lot of people criticizing Harry Kane for not scoring goals, for not making chances, for not playing as well as he does in the Premier League that now he's doing in the Bundesliga. I feel like it's not up to him, right? The guy doesn't play for himself; he plays for a team. And if the ball doesn't reach him, what's he gonna do about it, right?
So I agree with you on the fact that he's not getting enough chances, but I think you're seeing it through the wrong lens. Like you said, England don't have the qualities, they don't have players with the capabilities. It's down to the system, it's how it's set up. They're not set up in a way to create chances.
That too, but I'm referring to the midfield specifically. When you see a midfield with the guys like Rice and Kobe Mainu. Rice, we can argue that he's good on the ball. He can create chances, but he's not gonna be a KDB, for example, right? He's not gonna be a James Madison. He's not gonna be one of those guys that is gonna feed you a through ball like Martin Odegaard, for example.
Or like Foden though. Foden was in that midfield.
Yeah, but the system, like you're saying, the system at City, they make those guys play, right? Those guys receive the ball. The chances are created for those guys. There's space for those guys to explore. Guys like KDB, they make those spectacular plays in which Foden's going to receive a ball by himself and then is going to be able to drag in and shoot, right? Or the same goes with Holland, and the same goes with Harry Kane when he was playing for Tottenham, when he had guys like James Madison feeding him the ball all the time. That's not the same with England because Jude Bellingham was not playing as a proper number 10, right? Creating chances, making incisive passes through balls. He was playing as a winger. He was one of the guys who were seen as the guy who was gonna score goals, right? But he was defending more often than not. Again, back to the decision about parking the bus versus making your team play. That goes back to your argument now, Christian. England were favoring Spain with that style of play, right? Parking the bus and let Spain pass the ball around. That's all they want to do, and they're glad to do that all day long. So why are you gonna give your opponent the ability to do what they want to do the most? I don't agree with it. I did not agree with Southgate's decision. But when England tied the match, I was like, man, if they actually make up and win this match, this guy's gonna be seen as a genius.
When England equalized, I thought they were gonna win. Like when Cole started to celebrate, I was like, I have to now change my name. I have to go find a cave to live in. But then within 2 minutes after the restart, I was just like, okay, we're safe because Spain just started to ball them, man. And yeah, it was crazy. I gotta say, like, there was one thing I wanted to ask you guys as well, because there's been a lot of talk about the England players. And I think that for the most part, at least for me, it's fairly straightforward. Like, I think Foden had a poor tournament. I think Kane had a pretty poor tournament. Saka, I think, had a decent tournament. I think he had a pretty good tournament. A lot of the time, the way that people talk about the England players, at least casually, it kind of gives you an idea of who they support, right? If they're hyping up Saka and Rice for the most part, and they're bashing Foden and Kane, they're supporting Arsenal. If they're hyping up Mainu and, Maguire and players like that, you get the picture, right? But there's one player who I was kind of, I don't know, I'm not really sure where I stand on his overall tournament, which is Bellingham. The one guy on that team who is really not a Premier League player, and obviously Harry Kane, but he's a Premier League player. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about his tournament? Because a lot of people say he ghosted, that he was terrible. And a lot of other people say he was actually good. He was one of England's better players.
It's crazy to say that he ghosted. He was one of their best players for sure. He was just oversaturated. He was overused. The guy was dying last match. He was so tired. I mean, there's so much a player can do, right? Until you reach your limits, your capacity. I felt like he added to the team as much as he could have. He was running all over the pitch. He scored that fantastic bicycle kick, which sent them through to the quarterfinals. I know it was just a goal, we can argue. But the man was running like crazy every single match for minutes, on and on and on. I mean, what do you expect from a guy like him? And then he still comes up to play as well as he did in the last match against Spain in the final. And I'm not sure if you guys remember, but I think it was around the 88th, 89th minute. He pulled the pass to Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins received the ball inside the box. He couldn't control, he couldn't turn, he couldn't manage to stay with the ball, right? And I kept thinking to myself, if that was Harry Kane, man, that was Harry Kane, the story would have been different.
He was pretty close to an equalizer himself. I mean, I agree with you. I thought he played well for the tournament. I think that people expect him to just have more of the ball in general, but he doesn't, and you know, it's international football. I thought he played well.
No, people just have a standard for him already. They have an expectation that he, like you say, he's supposed to be scoring all these goals, all these assists, and going and winning the tournament with ease. You know, that's what they think about this guy. But as you said, it's international football. It's competitive. Like there's world-class players all around as well. And as we've been talking about this whole time, the system isn't really necessarily set up in his favor, right? He's one of the best players in the world, but I mean, like he's out on left wing? I just feel like it's a shoehorn type of thing that's going on. You have to get Bellingham in the side, but do you build a side around him, or do you utilize his qualities and try and build a system yourself? It's hard to say, but I'm also saying he had a good tournament, but because I think people forget, he had an assist in the final. Like people are forgetting that.
Yeah.
Almost 2 assists.
He's also, you know, he's also like only a few months older than Kobe Mainu. Like he's not that old. Well, no, sorry, he's maybe a year older than Mainu. A few months is
I
actually
mean, still,
Like,
one is a
but it's wild though, right? Because we talk about Mainu as though he's a youngster, you know, which he is, but Bellingham is also a youngster. Like I
Yeah.
sometimes try to remind people.
Agree. If you're gonna say someone ghosted, say Foden ghosted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Fair
that he's that people forget that Bellingham was showing maybe closer to Lamine Yamal type potential. Don't get me wrong when I say this. I'm not saying they're on the same level, but I'm saying he was playing at a level from a younger age, you know, that is very different to what Kobe Mainu was playing. You know, like Kobe Mainu at 18 was not seeing that level of top level football, that amount of top level football that Jude was seeing.
Fair
Anyway,
enough.
I know we want to go to team of the tournament, but I just want to say one last thing if you guys will let me. Noah, I know a huge thing that we say all the time, and that you say a lot, is you can only beat what's in front of you. And I agree with that totally. However, I do want to give massive credit to Spain here because, you know, we can frame stories in a lot of different ways. But to win this tournament, we all know they won 7 games out of 7. Spain have beaten over the course of this Euros. They've beaten the holders, Italy. They beat the
Who are
host.
not good this tournament, but yeah.
We're not good, but they're the
Yeah.
holder.
But go ahead, yeah.
They beat the hosts in Germany. They beat the two the two or the three. They beat the two highest finishing teams in the last World Cup, which was France and Croatia, who also happened to be the previous World Cup's 2 finalists. I think that is just incredible to me. Like the level of, like, they really had to go through the mud like to win this competition in a different way than we would have said England had to if they had won it. They really had to beat some tough opposition, and I think it's crazy, man. They just deserve so much credit for that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up because it did cross my mind today, actually. I was thinking like, wow, I at the start I did say France or England are my 2 favorites, and Spain had to overcome both. And it just showed like, if you are gonna win these Euros, you are gonna have to overcome some tough competition one way or the other because they were gonna reach there somehow. But
And
that's part.
the thing is that no, they were playing ball. They were balling.
Yeah,
Right. They were
100%.
controlling the matches.
They deserved it, right? It showed
They
on
deserved it.
the results.
Yeah,
So
they were creative. They were incisive, relentless. They deserved it for
for
sure.
sure.
And I just want to give one quick shout out to a guy that you guys might think that I'm going crazy right now, but just a quick shout out to a guy named Mark Cucurella.
I was going to mention him too. I was actually going to mention him.
You mean the handball?
Crazy, right?
You mean
Crazy. We're shouting out guys like Morata and now Cucurella. Like, how crazy. This guy was booed from the get-go. He was
handball?
booed. I mean, the only chance that he got, the only incisive pass that he got, the only opportunity to create a chance for his side, he got an assist out of it. So kudos to
Yeah.
Marco
Winning
Correa, man.
assist, bro.
He
The tournament winning assist.
No man,
Yes, the tournament
He shouldn't
winning
have been there
assist.
though.
he deserves a lot of credit. And you know what? You could never blame the Spain manager, at least from an outside like fan perspective, if he decided to say go with somebody like Grimaldo, who, obviously had an amazing season in terms of output. But he decided that he needed what Cucurella offers, and I think he performed super well. I'm glad you brought him up, Theo, because I forgot to as well.
Absolutely.
So
Who
you guys
also
want
deserves
to...
a shout is the manager himself, De La
Yeah.
Fuente.
That's also true.
Yeah, definitely. Don't
De La
forget that
Fuente.
one. Yeah.
But no, I want to run through the team of the tournament.
Yeah, I'm gonna run through it real quick. So starting in goal, I was saying Donnarumma. I thought he was honestly really good, really solid. He was the only thing keeping up Italy in my like the one shining light in Italy's side, in my opinion.
Honorable mention to Diogo Costa,
100.
Mamard Billy as well. Had a great couple of showings for Georgia. Okay, at the back we have...
Wait, so is that a decision? Are we deciding for Donnarumma or is
Oh,
that open?
Done.
I thought we had
Done already.
decided beforehand, and we were running through.
It's a done deal. Okay. I
It's
would
done
have picked.
deal.
I mean, I know you guys are in majority here, but I would have picked that Georgian keeper. But it's fine. We can move
Mamard
up to
Billy.
another.
No,
We did
personally,
agree.
I would have two. And I'm happy
Ask the man them before. Never mind.
No, I'm happy. Remember what I said was I'm happy to have Donnarumma if that's who you chose. But at the back we had here, and I'm just looking at the same
Yeah.
lineup we discussed before. We had Carvajal. I don't think much argument there. Saliba, Pepe. Saliba I thought was incredible for France. Pepe, a couple of other defenders that could have gone there. I think we had mentioned.
Yeah, for sure. Laporte was one, but I mean Pepe with the age and everything, I think that's the biggest credit of all, honestly.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean,
By
Pepe.
the way, before we move on from Carvajal, quick, I want to say a quick shout out his red card in a very smart fashion to stop that.
Yeah.
He was already suspended. It was just great, smart play.
I hate the man. I can't. Big up to him. Ferdy Kadialu at left back. I thought he was really solid as well. I mean, we just spoke about Cucurella, obviously. He could easily have gone there as well. But yeah, Kadialu just, I think, made a name for himself this tournament. Obviously, his transfer value has gone up now by like 15 million pounds. Dortmund are out of the race for him. So that sucks. And then in the midfield, we had kind of a midfield three. The two Spaniards, Theo, what you think? Rodri and Fabian Ruiz. I think those kind of go
Yeah,
without
that's
saying.
the most logical decision, right? No much to think about here.
For
Yeah, the
sure.
two-
Gundogan is the next one who I think, in my opinion, deserves it. But there was a few other potential shouts. I had Vitinha as an option too.
Yeah.
Good shout.
I kind of like that you put Gundogan in there. I mean, you know me.
I know you would like that.
No, but I did think he played very well though. Like and captain the German squad. I thought he was excellent. The two wingers again speaks for itself. The two youngsters with a combined age of just now above Luka Modric, Lamine and Nico. Amazing tournament from them. And then up front we had Cody Gakpo.
I think it speaks for itself. Gakpo, brilliant goal contribution. Quick mention to another youngster, Arda Güler.
Arda was solid too. Theo, not many strikers to go up there, don't it? Kind of
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, and that goes to prove our points, right? The guy who we chose as a striker is not a striker per se, right? It was Memphis Depay, not Gakpo. Gakpo. I'm sorry, I can't speak English today, guys. It was not Gakpo. Again, Gakpo. There we go, Gakpo.
That's right.
It's not even that hard, right?